Hey, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to our reading. This reading is a general reading for the week ahead, whenever you find this. And we're going to start off this week with this card, the Moon card. I've thought about this card quite a bit this week. In particular, this card from this deck, so we'll be using the rest of this deck. It's called the Golden Tarot, and it uses Renaissance art. So what we have here is it Renaissance art? I don't know. The Moon card, and I've been thinking a lot about these things down here, these little, I call them the creepy crawlies or the weird things or in our subconscious. And the Moon card is typically about consciousness, subconsciousness, illusion, delusion, intuition, what's real, what's not real. What I'm seeing here today is the only human face here is actually the moon, the full moon. And here you are, you're looking into this darkness, into this sort of bizarre landscape. Within, and you have, I'd say, it's just a very passive look at it. We're neither loving nor hating what we're seeing. We're understanding those darker parts of ourselves that we have either rejected and or our culture has rejected. Very normal, typically normal parts of being a human, what it is to be a human, to feel things like anger, sadness, weakness, betrayal, all of those things. So here you are, you're looking in this little portal into this darker, into the darkness, into the night part of your heart and your soul. And we're seeing a lot of tender little animals that live here. We have a bunny full of hope and luck and aspiration, often associated with the moon in most cultures. We have a little fawn, some helplessness. We have maybe some leadership skills and abilities that maybe you've ignored and or were made to feel ashamed of at some point, and then took that on yourself, adopted that idea from the larger culture that you in particular were not well suited for leadership. We also have this dog, this loyal friend, maybe even loyalty itself somehow that can both, we lift that up, but sometimes it can be very damaging to ourselves. This dog needs food, man. There's something really that's been really loyal to you that you need to look into, an aspect of yourself that is actually a friend to you that needs something from you. And then as we go down at the very bottom here, we see these crustaceans, the crab and the lobster. No, that's a shrimp. That's a crawdad. Down there. And those are really delicious. You know, and I was thinking about like how you catch them is you put sort of a trap down there. You set a trap and they come in of their own accord. And so I think that that's some parts of your psyche want to bound to you to be understood. They're immediately available. And then some other parts kind of a trap gets laid. And then that's when you can really take a look at them and examine them. And they are full of protein and nutrients. And so, you know, you can catch and release, of course. But once once your environment has something for this part of your shadow self to come out, you can gather it and you can, you know, really use it. Hey, Jack. And you can really use it for your benefit and your growth. So that's what I wanted to talk about with that card. We'll see if it comes out in the reading. I'm going to put it back in the deck. We'll put it right in the middle here, and then I'll do one more shuffle. So for the oh, Jack, sir, this table, you are just about as big as this table when you flatten yourself out like that. Okay, one more shuffle for this big deck of Work Your Light Magic and Moonology, and we'll see if Jack and I can occupy the same space together. Jack and these cards, are we gonna be able to do this? All right. Any other cards for us? Okay, and then we had one flip around. I love these ones that flip around. They're so like dramatic secret is what I think of it. So the dramatic secret we have is the initiation. Yeah, that sounds really dramatic. It's a dark cave. from which messages will emerge. All right. All right. Inner temple. Devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. So being devoted and dedicated to something. I think also dedicated to the process of learning about yourself, the process of releasing yourself or working with your shadow self. I think some dedication is required there. And I'd say also an unconditional love for yourself. But tuning into the portal of your heart, what is really in your heart? What is really, Jack is licking my hand now. It's very distracting, Jack. I think also being like dedicated to your path and dedicated to your guides and the messages that you receive, and remaining focused on your own unique journey. You know, who was it that said, you know, if you can see your path ahead of you, it's not your path. You know, if everything's really clear and the next 10 years of your life look all well laid out, it's, you know, you can have a 5-year plan, but you have to understand that we are co-creators, and the universe also might have its 5-year plan for you. So I would say that I'm talking about being devoted, but I think it's being devoted to the messages of your heart, right? We had this dog here over in this moon card. I put it in the middle of the deck. How silly of me. I'm going to try to reference it. Oh, I can't find it now. We had that dog in the moon card, you know, that was hungry and needed something. And I think that might be a little bit of what that devotion, needing some attention, remaining devoted to some sort of dream that you've been given that may be unique to you, because it's tuned into the portal of your heart, not tuned into the portal of what our society wants you to be. So devotion. And then we have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I think this fits really well with being devoted to your unique vision, your unique gifts, your inner loyal, there's loyalty here. There's like an inner loyal dog that you need to be feeding. That's loyal to you. You need to be loyal to it. So, so don't dim to fit in. How are you doing your light to fit in? How are you not allowing the world to see you, to see how much you are, to see how much you have to give, or in what ways are you downplaying your own skill set? You may have something here that other people don't understand, don't agree with you, maybe among people that really don't understand your path. I mean, we all are, because we have to be at some point among people that don't understand your path and don't understand why you would prioritize this over that. So I'm hearing like, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, hide it under a bush. Oh no. Or is it bushel? I don't know. I was always so confused on that as a kid. I'm going to let it shine. So it's a Sunday school song, but it actually has no specific religion with it. So don't dim that light just because other people are bothered by it, or just because other people don't understand it, don't understand why you're carrying it, don't understand, why you were camping and you took the headlamp to the bathroom and the person you're with is like, I can see, why can't you see? Well, maybe you end up like, not tripping where you otherwise would have, or you put it away and then you end up tripping or something, like don't let someone else tell you you don't need that, you do. And then we have your dreams need a practical plan. So you do have a dream, but you do have a dream. You do have something that's unique to you that does require devotion and prioritization. But there's also also be practical about it. Like this dream is not invalid. This dream is not impossible. This dream is none of those things. But you do need to, have a practical plan. You know, if you want to be an actor and you want to, you know, move to LA, you can do that. You're not going to end up as a street urchin, as I was told so many thousands of times as a child. You won't end up as a street urchin. What you'll, but you do need a practical plan in order to avoid that, right? You do need to be like, yeah, planning things out a little bit. But staying devoted to the plan, but just because there's like some impracticality that the plan presents, and you can find a way around it. So it's full moon in Taurus. So this is like actually real, like funding for the business that you want to start, or, you know, and really having a repayment plan that's feasible. Yeah, getting a loan, a feasible loan that's not, you know, with ridiculous terms, and researching that. Getting organized, hard work being rewarded. This practical plan, yeah. Yeah, it's like keep dreaming, stick with your dream, but definitely take care of the nuts and bolts of existence here. Okay, and because, you know, if you're not existing, then you can't accomplish your dream, right? Okay, maybe the ghosts disagree with me. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So it's a little bit scary, maybe approaching something, but yeah, I mean, there's some darkness here, a lot of unknown. I feel like a rattling of the cage. Your cage is safe, but someone's rattling the bars. It's like a little gauntlet of fears you have to walk through. Some of them are your worst fears. And temptations, too. There's a gauntlet of temptations and fears. Staying focused, keeping your eye on the prize, which is that lovely little beach. Staying focused on your dream and not getting distracted or afraid or truly rattled by some of these like sounds and sights that you see as you go towards it. So I'm seeing a sense of like being calm, but, and I like the threshold here. It's like crossing into something else. I almost feel like this tear closes behind you. It's not that there will never be another scary threshold, of course. But you're on some way. So I almost feel like, right, we've got a portal here too. Staying devoted to this path. And maybe it's a spiritual path. And things look a little scary right now, but don't be intimidated. It's part of the process. Don't be intimidated. Yes, you need a practical plan. Yes, you need to know how you're going to get there. But you do need to be devoted. Keep your eyes on the prize. Don't let yourself get distracted by fears and distractions. That's those three together. And if some of those fears are like practical things, then approach them with a plan. What's your plan for dealing with these difficult things? And I was when I saw that Taurus one, I'm like, break that plan down into small little baby steps. Your dreams and your practical plan. Well, if the practical plan seems a little bit scary and a little bit undoable, also, then break it down into small steps. You know, your to-do list today is, you know, gather your W-2 forms, or whatever they're called, you know, task tomorrow, figure out your deductions, your expenses. The next day, another little baby step, just baby steps. That's actually almost the most practical way to deal with anything. All right, so I've shuffled this like 20 times. All right, overall, Ace of Swords, truth, clarity, looking at the truth. And you know what? Truth is not always negative. There is a mentality out there that The truth always has to be harsh and it always have to be negative. That's a really messed up worldview, honestly. So the truth of a message, wanting to know the truth, an epiphany. I say it, oh, that was very like, an epiphany. That's what it is. Changes things. There's this mistletoe here. I wish I knew more about mistletoe. I mean, I know it's for kissing, but that's about it. This sword is, this truth is divine. This truth has a lot of power. This epiphany is very powerful. Well, it's underlying, so, you know, is it coming or not? Are we going to get the epiphany maybe we've been wanting and hoping for? Are we going to get the truth we've been wanting and hoping for? Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Interesting. Okay, there's two people here. You have literally the exact same, not the exact same, but very similar message. The major arcana for the minor arcana we've had in the to-do list for the last couple weeks. So, in the recent past, Queen of Cups, somebody knows how they feel. They keep it to themselves. It's private. Keep out. How I feel is how I feel, and that's nobody's business but mine. That's who this, I don't know if this was you or not you. You or somebody else. But yeah, they feel very passionate about something, and they really kept it to themselves. Queen of Cups knows what she thinks, knows who she is, knows how she feels, male or female. Someone knows how they feel. Again, we have this like divinity present here, some sort of powerful emotional self-knowledge that has been kept thoroughly to oneself. Maybe it has to do with hopes, has to do with fears, has to do with vulnerability, transparency. They had, you know, people have a right to their secrets. They have a right to keep things to themselves. I'm not saying this Queen of Cups has a lot of secrets, but I'm saying what they knew they kept to themselves, and that was their right to do so. They're your feelings. You don't have to tell everybody about them. But someone was really sorting them out, maybe doing some journaling. This feather feels important to me here. Yeah, the feather feels really important. It's communication. Maybe with self, with different layers of self, higher self, shadow self. You being the conduit for that all, writing that down. Keeping it to yourself. And then we have current situation, Six of Swords. This is sort of the refugee card, the moving on card. There's nothing more for me there. This card, there's a moving on, a detachment, an upping anchor from the place where you've been anchored. Again, I feel this like a deep sense of privacy and protection here. This baby is like completely, this baby, this dream, this future is completely swaddled in the, you know, like the cloak covers both. So where you would think there was one, there's actually two that are moving on. So there could be something about someone with a child. There's a detachment and moving on, but there's so much truth. There's so much truth that allows you to move forward, and looking at that truth, right? This truth perhaps is one of these truths that are in this boat with them, guiding them. The truth is we can't live here anymore. The truth is that this place isn't safe for us. The truth is that no matter how much more comfortable it would have been to stay here, the truth is that it can't continue on. So something has to change. This is either really moving a place, this is detaching from something, this is moving on from something. There's not a strong desire to move on. We'd love to stay at home. We'd love to stay in our comfort zone, but we must leave the comfort zone. And we have these fishermen here kind of watching them, and that reminds me of the story of Jesus on the boat with his fisherman disciples, and they're fishing and fishing, and they're not catching any fish, probably because they're talking too much. That's what I've heard. And they're not catching any fish. And Jesus says, just try the other side of the boat. And then they catch a lot of fish. So that story is reminding me of this devotion to your inner temple. So there's a devotion and a staying course. So we're not quitting fishing. But I think the devotion is less to what side of the boat you're fishing on, and more to that divine voice, that epiphany that's telling you to go elsewhere, that's telling you to move on. So being devoted to that, I'm going to say that divine loyal dog within you that maybe doesn't get heard or listened to all that much. So these fishermen here are reminding me of that devotion or that trust of like, okay, this is the way we've always done it. Maybe we do it some other way now. And that's similar to this just Six of Swords, is this detachment. I'm also seeing North Node, South Node work here, being focused on where you're going. There's a lot of pain in where you're leaving, perhaps. This was not, you wanted this to work out. You wanted this to be a thing where you felt safe and where you felt secure and you felt that life was there with you. But again, we have this guide in the boat with you. It's like you're not able to row or to move, but something is moving you also. There's help and assistance and protection here. And the truth, right, we were saying the truth isn't always harsh and brutal. Here the truth is almost acting like a guide, a lookout for dangers ahead, or you're taking the truth with you. The things you've learned, the things you know. You're being very protective of something. Your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, subconscious desires, issues, Knight of Cups. You want to be appreciated. You want messages of love. You want messages of appreciation and love to come your way. You would like the Knight on the white horse. You would like a little maybe rescue here. We have the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. The Knight is communication. You would like, and then, what's interesting here too is that this blue is really standing out to me, and that's about throat chakra and intuition. I think that blue sits between the two. And then we have a blue angel right here also. And the Knight is the throat chakra. The Knight is the communication, is the truth from the heart. Maybe there's some sort of message of appreciation and love that you would either like to give or would like to receive. Right? Look at this. We've got someone keeping it all to themselves. We've got you just detaching, and there's this, this pose of fear, protection, turning inwards, really having to attend to the moment, into the wounds that are causing you to move forward. And wouldn't a kind word, you're not wrong to want kind words. That's very, very normal. Wouldn't a kind word really be a beautiful thing for this woman, this mom, this parent who's fleeing a situation? Wouldn't some sort of love, maybe she's like, maybe this person right here, this is you. Maybe this person right here is really hoping that this is what's on the other shore when they're leaving one land and going to another. And maybe this is their dream, that there is be like love and appreciation and expressions of love in this new land, in this new place where they're going. Something very much more expressive. And of course, there's a lot of courage with that expression. What's that issue here? 3 of Cups. So I don't usually, like in the reverse here, there could be an affair, a third party situation. But this is, there's not friendship. There's not music. There's not playfulness. There's not a celebration. There's no celebrating. Maybe, well, of course, we've got this Knight of Cups, this inner dream of yours. And then there's no celebration here. There's no, of course, this is what you're hoping for, is some sort of message of appreciation or emotional, some sort of message of love or appreciation. And there's like nobody, you're not celebrating with anyone, nobody's celebrating you, you're not connecting with other people. Maybe a party got canceled, something got canceled, or there hasn't been a connect. There's been no sharing of the heart. There's a lack of companionship here, some loneliness perhaps. I think, when we're dealing with affairs and third-party situations that we did not consent to, the loneliness of understanding that this person that you held dear and you were loyal to and you revered isn't actually your person. And this was, the loneliness that comes in with betrayals like that can be pretty intense. There's that realization that even your closest people will not be there for you, and can in fact destroy you. Well, not destroy you, but make it feel like you're being destroyed. So yeah, we have this sort of lonely journey, but there's somebody here. You're not seeing them, you're not looking them, but they are with you. But you are wanting some sort of expression. And there's just this loneliness. There's like an echo chamber where your friends should be. There's maybe a canceled party, a canceled get together, a lack of support, a lack of celebration and fun, maybe. Yeah. So in your environment, we have Temperance. Everything takes time. But again, we have another angel here, which I think is really important. And we have a messages coming in. Well, this with the saint coming in right here with the message. And then we also have the iris here, all about messages. And then this feather too is looking like messages from beyond. So you're getting messages here, but the environment is like, these things take time. There's a process. These things, maybe you're trying to move and like the rental agency is moving very slowly, or maybe you're trying to like get over something, some old wound or something, or some way you used to do things. And these things take time. Both inner and outer change can take time. It can happen very fast also, but that's almost a little traumatic. But these things take time. It'll come in time. Things are getting mixed up. Things are getting prepared. This is the cosmic drink mixer, making things more palatable. But it takes time. That bartender is going to take some time with your drink. They're going to mix it. They're going to mix it good. Maybe put a couple little flourishes, little sprigs of this, and a little smoke of that in it. It's going to be beautiful, but you got to wait. It's in the flow. Things are still flowing. Things are still flowing, and there's not been a settling of anything at this point. Well, yeah, we know that. So decisions are still being made, things are still being put together. There's a flow, there's a duck here. And this duck feels really important. Maybe this duck is important because it's talking about all the work that's going on beyond the surface, below the surface. Things seem to be moving smoothly. And there's a sense of like being at home. There's a sense of something looks very comfortable. Something looks like they're at home. And then under the surface, or behind the scenes, there's a lot of movement and a lot going on. And that's what this looks like. It's in your environment. So something may look very tranquil, but there's still a lot moving and a lot being decided and a lot being settled on and a lot of, and something is taking its time. So your to-do list, while these things take their sweet time to figure out what's going on, is to be happy. So this has been our third week of your to-do list, is to have clarity, be in the sunshine. If this was you withholding stuff, this is you revealing stuff. You're being very revealing. There's an innocence, a transparency here. It is the happiest card in the deck, right? The last 2 weeks we've got like 10 of Pentacles last week, and the week before we got 10 of Cups. So completions, joys. The Sun card, number 19. Almost everything's clear. You're being clear. It's this epiphany, it's this revelation, it's this clarity. This little sword, this little truth, sit in the beauty of knowing, the beauty of clarity, the beauty of honesty. There's a lot of vulnerability here. So your to-do list would be to be like delightfully vulnerable. Get naked somehow, you know, don't get arrested either, but get naked. Looking to the future, that's really funny because I first pulled out the Moon card, right? And now we have the Sun card. So that Moon card, where there was once illusions, there's now a lot of clarity, right? The Moon card had a face on it too and was looking in on this scene. Well, not on this scene, on a totally different scene, on the interior, the weird, surreal, our weird, surreal interior lives. But the Sun card, happiest card of the deck. So there's again, I was listening again to the idea today of like the tuning into the different channels, right? And so on the radio. So there's a bunch of different channels on the radio, and you don't have to listen to the one you were born listening to. You don't have to listen to the channel your parents listen to, you know, the inner stuff. Pick a channel, pick a sunny channel with songs you like. Don't listen. Why would you listen to songs you don't like right now with all the choices we have? Yeah, again, and this is like be happy, and not in a way where we're obviously I would never be a reader that would ask you to deny your inner struggles. But there's a sense of looking, but at the same time, there are choices that we can make, right? Sometimes there's a grief process, and it's useful to go through this grief process. But we can give ourselves some relief by, when we can, choosing to feel bright, choosing to be honest, choosing to be clear, right? Because this honesty isn't always mean and vicious and horrible. So I like that these two epiphany cards. So something's taking its sweet time, and while it takes its sweet time, enjoy your life, be as happy as you can. Make an attempt to enjoy this journey. I mean, I love just being in a boat, just the rocking and the waves and being surrounded by the sea. I like that a lot. So maybe the situation isn't all that great, but trying to enjoy where you're at right now. Yeah, again, not struggling to be happy, but looking for moments and milking them. And then obviously there's like a vulnerability and a transparency to this happiness. Possible outcome, the Hierophant. The Hierophant can represent organizations. The Hierophant himself is a leader of an organization. There's rules, regulations, contracts. Follow the rules. You might get to where I am. I don't think this Hierophant's that great, but this person has the keys to success, and you gotta kind of go along with the rules. You want to win the game, you gotta play by the rules, right? You want to, and everything's a little bit of a game. You can, I mean, not to like give it an unseriousness, but again, the Sun card has an unseriousness to it as well. But there are, you know, if you want to play the, let's see, say success in corporate America game, there's rules. And you have to learn those rules and you have to follow those rules, and then you get the keys to the kingdom. Or you might, you know, although the rules are not the rules. They tell you these are the rules. Those are not the rules. There's a separate set of rules. The rules they're telling you are not the rules. There are other rules also, ones that they don't tell you. But it is like, if you want to play the game, you got to play by some of the rules. There's also a sense of the Hierophant as being like a book or a source outside yourself, right? These are seekers coming to seek wisdom from the Hierophant. So there could be a leader. Maybe you become some sort of leader of an organization, or perhaps you become the holder of some sort of keys. And people ask you, can you unlock the door for me? Can you unlock the bathroom door for me? I would like the key. And you hold that key. So perhaps that's part of what's going on. Hierophant, religious leader, unconventional leader. Can be a leader too of someone that's part of a charity or nonprofit organization. The Hierophant also just traditionally represents marriage, commitments, higher commitments. Well, oh yeah, we were talking about devotion. Tune into the temple of yourself, and here you are, the high priest, the priest, the pope of the temple of yourself here. So maybe this is about an actual religious organization or some sort of non-profit organization. All right, and then what did we find from the Wild Kuan Yin? Uniquely you, the more we're willing to become authentic rather than conventional. Oh, this looks very conventional to me. That's what I would call the Hierophant. Well, the Hierophant's not totally conventional. The Hierophant's like, you know, non-profit, conventional. Rather than conventional, the more we will need to eschew conditioning in favor of aliveness. Be willing to run the risk of being authentic, again, that authentic word, so that you can live from your heart and experience real joy. The truth, the authenticity here in this, be willing to run the risk of being authentic so that you can live from your heart and experience real joy. I could not have summed up the Sun card better. So basically, this is just like a really nice, like, this is part of your to-do list, the Sun card. All right, well, I hope that was helpful for you. I'll see you guys again later. Have a lovely week, babies.